Okay, so we can start. Everybody hears us well?
Can
Good.
hear well?
Nice to have you here, Demed. At first, for everybody to understand what you do, what is DigitalRoute?
What is DigitalRoute? So we are, well, maybe I'll start with where we are. We are based out of Sweden.
Okay.
But really what we do is that we deal with usage data. That's really our DNA. So by usage data, we mean anything that your production systems might generate, whether if you're a SaaS platform, it could be how many visitors do you have interacting with your service today. But you could also be a hardware-based company doing mobility as a service. How many people are using your vehicles today? How many kilometers did they ride on the vehicles? And we also have some very large customers on the telecommunication side of things, and there we count things like how many minutes, messages you sent on your phones. But really what we do is looking at your usage data and making sure that usage data can then inform your business decisions. And the first one will be on the financial side of things. So one of our typical use case is getting this usage data into your financial systems for billing.
Okay. What would you say is the biggest problem that you solve for SaaS companies? Let's talk about SaaS. We're at SaaS talk.
Right. So for SaaS company, what we're doing is that I would say the main value we have is that we're bringing something that we've done for a long time with other companies like telecommunication as well as infrastructure. We have a lot of cloud providers that maybe many of these SaaS companies are running on. We're bringing these things that these people have dealt with for a long time. We're bringing that to them in a much simpler fashion to consume. And so today this is actually what thing we do is talking about metering, how you can get your usage, and really that's so to step back a bit, for SaaS company, the main thing we would do is help you move away from a very simple consumption, maybe subscription model, maybe seat-based, to something that would be usage-based as well. Either purely usage-based or a hybrid of subscription and usage-based, which is a really hard thing to do from a technical perspective.
Okay, and to understand better, can you share your favorite customer success story? So a company that you helped and how it impacted them.
I think one interesting company was a mobile ad company based in France, one of the leading leader in the space. And like many, I would say, cloud-native SaaS companies, what they did is that they built the ability to understand usage based in their product. It was baked in their product. But then they started looking into, they started expanding, and they started building a new product line. And this is suddenly where they found themselves in a really hard place because they would have to, basically they had to rebuild all that infrastructure in that other product as well. And so this was getting in the way of them growing. And this is really, typically this is when companies find us. You know, if you just have one product, one monetization plan, you typically can do some of that yourself. But as soon as you start getting outside of this, or you maybe doing a merger and acquisition, you start to develop, you go from basic subscriptions to another business model, you start having some volume, then it starts getting a little bit complicated. And instead of doing what you should be doing, which is working on your service, then your engineers are wasting this time trying to build infrastructure, which is not what you should be doing.
I understand. Okay, good. And why are you saying that subscriptions are stagnating and what we can do about it? So this is a very popular topic.
That was a bit of a provocative title, I would say, of a workshop yesterday, but I think it's fundamentally true, which is subscriptions are stagnating. And I think we saw as well Andrew Davis from Paddle and Carl from OpenView yesterday talking about the state of SaaS, right? And they were emphasizing how efficiency is going to be key moving forward. And this is something that really is happening, which is a lot of the great companies that are on us today here at SaaS Talk have been focusing on customer acquisition. Let's build a great service, maybe a subscription. Let's not worry too much about pricing. Let's get as many customers as we can. But now that we're entering 2024, you know, people are really concerned about efficiency, margins, profit, and everything. And how do you do this, right? So you need to start getting a handle of usage. How much are people using your platform? That's one thing. On top of that, you're really concerned about things like customer churn. And if you have a one-size-fits-all pricing, typically that doesn't work well for you know, the casual users. They're going to find this too expensive. Or you're going to have also some very heavy users, the ones who love your service, but they're driving it so hard that actually your margins also driving, getting it to the ground. So you need to find a middle ground. And typically the middle ground for that is maybe you introduce a hybrid model, which is you lower your monthly subscription, so the casual users are happy, no churn, and then you have the usage-based portion. So basically you retain your margins as well.
But do you think that every SaaS company should implement the metrics, track the metrics, so in order to create the best pricing?
Well, I think it's not everybody needs to do this. As I mentioned a bit earlier, I think that you need to reach a certain stage, right? If you are a 4-person startup, your focus will be on your product, getting some customers. I think you need to get into that +1 complexity, as I call it, which is when you start thinking about adding a new product line, maybe a new business model, maybe you want to merge with that other great company next door, this is when you start having a little bit of problem. Or you have some volume as well, right? Because you've been working so successful, you've got now thousands of customers, and it's a bit hard to put this into your billing system. You cannot do these things in your billing system when you have volume. So I would say we need these companies who are successful, growing, and adding a little bit of complexity. So I would say, you know, maybe 25 million ARR type of companies.
And why do you think that pricing is such a popular topic nowadays, and it was not that popular, let's say, last year or 2 years ago? Everybody's talking about pricing, that optimization, metrics, a lot of startups that help you do that.
Well, it's pretty hard out there, right, for a company. So I think we're all feeling the pinch, right? It's a lot of pressure. Customers are all looking at how they can reduce subscriptions. I'm a CTO, so I run also the R&D division at DigitalRoute, and I can tell you that I spend a lot of time looking at what can I cut, right? How many subscriptions? Do we really need subscriptions? How can I justify this subscription price when you're using the service twice a month? So everybody is feeling the pressure. So everybody is looking at how we can optimize, or we can, I think it's two things. One is optimize, make sure that you've got the right margins, and the other one is avoid customer churn. So you need to find the right balance in between, and that's a tough balancing act from the companies.
How big is your team right now?
So DigitalRoute is about 300 employees. It's a bit larger maybe than some of the companies here, but you know, I like to say that we really are like 3 companies in one. We have this telecommunication business that we started, I don't know if I should say it, but 20 years ago, literally, right? The whole consumption economy started in telecommunications. People need to remember that. So that's what we started. Now we also have a large enterprise business. We help some of the people who invented the subscription economy, basically riding on a platform. I'm not allowed to name them, but I wish I could. And now we've got this third company starting really working with a lot of the great companies around us here. So you know, smaller companies looking at how we can start doing consumption-based, usage-based pricing.
I'd love to hear your story. So how long have you been at the company? How did you get into it? Why?
So I've been personally, I've been at DigitalRoute for 3 years. Before that, I've been with quite a few large companies like SAP, Oracle, always been in products. I also was lucky to be at TIPCO Software many years ago, and was started with a company when it was very, very small, went through an IPO, and I always loved that period of my life. So 2 things I liked. I liked the growth. I liked the working with engineering teams. And so when I moved to Stockholm, I used to be based in California. When I moved to Stockholm, I was looking for this environment, engineering, a team, and some growth perspective. And this is when DigitalRoute showed up. So 3 years ago, I decided to join them, and it's a fun journey.
Congratulations. How big is the technical team that you manage?
It's about 100 people. I mean, but we really have 2 products. We have this SaaS product that is growing quite a bit right now, and we have this owned and operated by the customer product that is used by the larger enterprises and as well as cloud providers.
And did you raise any funding?
It's all privately owned by the So.
Okay. What would you say is your most successful go-to-market strategy today?
Oops. Oh, we're back. No.
No. It works.
It's back on.
Yeah, good.
Oh, no, it's gone again.
It's good. Let's
All right.
continue.
So what is the most successful? I think I would say it's hard to say. We've got depends on what you mean by most successful, but obviously the one that we've been doing for a long time is this actually a reselling motion. We have a large company reselling our products, but the most exciting and the one that is growing the fastest is the SaaS model. So that's the one that I would say is keeping everybody excited at DigitalRoute today.
Of course. I have a question, a personal question that I ask everybody on the podcast. What's your favorite SaaS product apart from DigitalRoute?
Oh, what is my favorite SaaS product? Let's see. Didn't prepare that question. I would probably say right now we do a lot with Datadog. We're replacing a lot of other products with their products. So yeah, probably Datadog.
What's your main goal at SaaS Talk? Why are you attending it?
Why we're here? I think it's there are two things. One is networking, and the other one is networking with two goals in mind. One is learning from our peers, and the other one is also understanding investors. But it's really an interesting experience because we go all the time to these larger events when we work on these larger customers, and so it's first time that we're here at SaaS Talk today, and meeting with a lot of our peers on the SaaS front, and it's a great experience. It's great to see how everybody is driven and excited, and I think it's humbling as well.
Is it your first time here at SaaS Talk?
First time for me at SaaS Talk, yeah.
Okay, congratulations. What is your target? Who are the companies that usually need DigitalRoute?
So I'm going to focus on our newer product, the SaaS product. I would say our ideal target would be a company who's, as I said, is no longer in the initial growth phase, but maybe in the second phase of their journey. And they have one problem, and these problems could be in various things. It could be a technical problem on the volume side. Let's say they are so successful, they have so much volume to deal with. They need to find a way to scale and aggregate that volume so that they can send something to their billing systems. Could be one. It could be a company that is struggling because they're growing through acquisition, for instance, and now they've got all these different systems, and they need to find a way to give one holistic view of the usage to their customers across all these different services. Or it could be somebody who's ready to make the shift from subscription-based businesses to consumption-based monetization.
Thank you for sharing. How competitive is your space and what is different about you?
So the interesting thing is that it's a space that does not really exist completely. There is one thing that we do that is called metering. It's one of the features that we do at the top. And then there is a space. There are several companies around here today. I think what's unique about us is that we don't just do metering. That's the number one. We have the whole usage data collection and processing engine underneath this. Because in order to do metering, which is basically putting all these bits of usage into buckets, you need to also get quality data. So you need to get the data, you need to clean it and you need to deduplicate it, for instance, because if you send duplicate data, you're going to overcharge the customer. So that's something that we do, and there are very few other companies doing that around here. Typically, we need two companies to do what we do. We need a metering company and we need an integration engine. So that's the number one. The other thing is we're also less, I would say, intensive on the technical requirements because we have a lot of graphical tools. It's not just API. A lot of the companies are really API driven. And finally, this is not something new for us. And I'm not going to say it's always a benefit, right? It's a bit of a blessing and a curse. But we've been doing this for a while. Again, when you get that text message from that your mobile cell provider at the end of the month, you're probably not happy when they tell you that you reach your limit. But we're behind all of that. So we've been doing this for quite a while at super large scales.
Thank you so much. Let's see if we have any questions in the audience. We have around 15 minutes left. Anybody?
Cool.
No? We'll continue. Tell me more about your pricing. How do you define your own pricing? You are the pricing experts, but how does your pricing work?
And we're not exactly pricing experts, right? I think there's a lot of pricing experts on this floor. I think what we do is really provide these pricing experts with the data they need. We're really focusing on the technical problems of collecting this data and feeding quality data into these billing systems and billing processes. Our pricing is what we preach. Basically, it's a hybrid pricing. You've got a base subscription, and then you've got we price per record that we process.
What are the top 3 most loved features? You should know that by the data that you got.
So I guess the first one is aggregation, and I don't know if that means anything for anybody here, but the key thing is it's not just about moving data from point A to point B, moving data from your, let's say, your log files on Amazon to your billing system. If you were to do this, you would just draw on all the systems. So the first thing we do is we aggregate the data over whatever period of time you want, typically 30 days. So I would say this is really the main thing that customers like to do with us. And if anybody here is in the space, aggregation state is actually really hard to do. So I would say that's probably the top feature that people like. The other thing, I would say that's probably number 1 and number 2 and number 3 as well. Aggregation.
Really? Why?
Yeah, it's a really hard problem to do at scale. I mean, if you're only dealing with a little bit of data, you can do it, but that's really hard to do at scale. But I hope that actually the one we just announced this week, yesterday actually here, metering, I'm hoping this is going to become everybody's favorite feature as well, but we're just launching it, so yet to be seen.
Good timing. I'd love to know more about your culture and what do you do as the CTO on your day-to-day job, let's say?
Oh, that's the culture at work is a very interesting topic. So, you know, I come from Silicon Valley. I spent all my life over there, and then I moved to Sweden. And the interesting thing is that DigitalRoute was the first Swedish company I was working for. And so for a long time, it was like trying to understand whether the culture difference was difference in because it's a Swedish company or because it's DigitalRoute, right? So you enter a new company and you've got a different culture. And so for me, I was very confused. Is that a difference between the US and Sweden, or that difference between DigitalRoute and the other companies? So, but it's been a very rich experience. But I think what we're spending a lot of time on removing a lot of layers as well. It's interesting because we've been working with so many different customers, large to small, but we're really embracing a lot of everything is agile. I think we change all our methodologies, and the fact that we also have to work with different products, on-prem products, and brings a lot of differences. But on the cloud side of things, we look very much the same to many of the companies around here, whether it's you're looking at this from the stack, technology stacks, or whether the way we work. But we are. It's a fun team. It's and you can see in the demographic as well the differences between the cloud team and the on-prem team. But we've got, as I said, we've got multiple personalities as well within the companies, and you can probably say that.
Right. And what do you do? What do you do as the CTO on your day-to-day?
What I do, so really, yeah, it's a good question because CTO can mean a lot of different things for different people. You've got the, and on my side, what I do is we're a small company, so it's not like we have a lot of people. So what I do is I run the R&D department, so all the development, and I also run the product team. And I've got a background in product management. That's really been what I've been doing all my life. So I love that part, but I also love building the organization. But what I do on a daily basis, I spend 50% of my time with the engineers, including technical architecture, and the other, I would say 20% with the management team, a lot of boring topics, and then 30% on the product.
How did you start your career?
I think I studied like many people around here. I joined actually a Silicon Valley-based company, but I was in Japan at the time. I joined them, and I was the technical background. And it was a company that it was interesting, but they were blending. It was really the early days of, in a way, what they had built was customer success. It was a mix of professional services with technical support, with pre-sales, all that in one function. And that was great because you basically learn everything. We had to install the products, we had to work with engineering, we had to work with the customers, we had to troubleshoot, and all that was on trading floors. So everything was going at super fast, and then I really loved that job and learned a lot. And then I moved to Palo Alto with the company, and it's been great. I love changing job every when you're in a company like this, growing through. We were at the time growing towards an IPO, and I think it's very similar to a lot of companies here. You basically change job every 6 months, and so you get to learn a lot along the way.
Amazing. And do you have any advice for people just finishing high school or university, looking to?
One thing I tell people oftentimes is they should really keep on digging and perfecting what their expertise is. I think I see a lot of people wanting to go into managing teams and doing things very early on, and that that could be interesting. A lot of people do that very well. But I think it's really important that you also build your expertise and something that you really love, something that you're going to be really an expert on, and that will give you a platform to get into something else. But I think build some depth before you want to go too broad. I think that's what I would say. But maybe that applies mostly for technical folks.
And do you also have some founding experience, or you just technical?
Founding experience. I do have a big failure experience in that domain as well. Now, when I was in Silicon Valley, I did start a startup as well with a friend of mine. We never went past the funding stage. We spent a lot of time visiting the VCs up and down Page Mill Road, but we learned a lot. I think this is one thing about the space, that you can always learn new things by failing. So it was great. So going through an IPO with a company, early stages, trying to do something on our own and failing along the way, you start realizing how hard the business is, and you can apply that to your next job.
So in the future, are you looking to start another company?
The future for me would be really to take this company and this SaaS product we're building to the next level. I've built a great team over the past couple of years. I really want that to succeed. So for me, there's nothing else at this point but making that successful.
How do you choose the right people in the team?
Answering that in 2 minutes, that would be hard, but yeah, I think it's really the people who want to go the extra mile, well, and the people who are really curious about things as well. It's not just about being good at coding and JavaScript or this, it's really being interested as well. So I think the curiosity, the drive, and some expertise, of course, as well, is that, but there's a lot more. But we spend a lot of time, I spend a lot of time in interviews with people, yeah.
So it's still a challenge for you after 300 employees, still a challenge?
It's always a challenge, yes. I think people is, there's no question, people is our number one challenge, finding the right people, because when you have the right combination, the right chemistry as well, that's really important to make sure that people have the right chemistry, then things can happen. But that's a hard balance to find. That's the hardest one.
Absolutely. Do you also know the founding story of the company?
Yeah, I do. It's a very typical, I would say, technology company story, which is a couple of engineers working for a large company realized that the customers were missing one product, so they just decided to start building the product on their own. And this is really the start. So we were a technology company for many, many years, funded by 2 developers and built around these 2 developers.
And those 2 founders are still with the company today after 20 years?
One of them still is, yes.
The CEO?
No, not a CEO, he's a developer.
Okay, interesting story. What did you say about the partnerships part of it? How can you partner up with pricing experts?
So we partner. I think we have. This is something that we actually came here to explore as well, and we had great discussions with several people on the floor. But we've been focusing on usage data as on the technical side of usage data, which is how do we aggregate, consolidate usage data, so we can give you one clean golden record that you can send to billing a platform. That's what we've been focusing on. But there's plenty more that can be done with usage data, and along the lines of pricing, as you said. Also, customer churn. Basically, a lot of the intelligence that people put today in terms of detecting, doing customer clustering, looking at churns, indicators. If you look at usage throughout the months and not just at the end when you're billing them, if you can look at this, these are very important early indicators. The problem with subscription business is it's a bit of a binary business, right? You've got your own, you've got your credit card on, and the service on auto renew until you're not anymore because you just basically cancel the service. So it's a bit of a binary business subscription. But if you combine this along with the usage data during the month, you can see, well, that person has a subscription on, but on top of, but I still can see that the usage is declining months over months. So maybe it's time to do something. So this is exactly why we're here, to see how can we leverage this usage data, not just for billing, the obvious one, but also for pricing, intelligence, and enough other things.
But why can't companies do that without you? Why is it a technical challenge? Is it
the technical challenge is pretty big, yes. Right now, to do even moving from subscription to consumption-based billing is actually a really complicated technical challenge. Most of the billing systems that are built for SaaS assume subscription. Several of the billing systems you can see around here now understand consumption as well. But this being said, they're not going to listen to your usage. There's not a chance they can listen to each and every click that your customers do on your website or things like this. So you need a layer in between. So, and that is what we do. But it's much harder problem than people think too. It's not just about a new pricing, a new model. It's a completely fundamental shift in what you need to do in order to achieve consumption-based billing.
And how hard is it to implement it for a new client? When it comes to you, how long does it take?
So I think it goes all the way from 3 months if you do a new pricing plan on the side, to 6 to 9 months if it's a very large customer is doing a lot of things. It's a bit all over the place. But
Wow.
the problem
Wow.
is that you're dealing with billing, and billing is at the heart of your cash flow. So everybody is super nervous as soon as you approach the billing system and all the things. So this is why we like to do things. The best is to do things a bit on the side. And the great thing is that you can actually do consumption-based billing without having to change your billing system. We can just listen to everything and give you one clean golden record at the end of the month that you can feed into your billing system. You don't need to do a lot of deep heart surgery with your billing system.
How many people were there at the company when you joined and now?
We've been through a lot of growth. So when I joined, I think my team was about 60 people. Now we're about 100 people. So I would say 40 to 60 year growth.
Do you have any tips for companies looking to achieve the same growth?
Every hire counts, and I think everybody knows that, but it's really, really true. I mean, I've got to say, after 3 years of growth and hiring, it's never been as easy as it is now. The first 2 years were really, really hard. When you want to grow, and you just and people don't know you, you don't have a brand, you don't have this, so it's really hard. But now that you attract a lot of good people attract good people, and things get easier and easier. But really, it's one step at a time.
So you're talking about employer branding.
Yeah.
Do you think that's crucial?
It's yes. When I was in Silicon Valley, I never really thought about this too much. You're right there. Everybody's there. Nobody questions. Nobody has any problem joining a company with no names. But when you're in Stockholm, Sweden, nobody knows you. It's a smaller market, smaller pool of talent. It's not easy always, so that was an interesting experience to discover that.
Okay, thank you so much for your transparency. I think this was it.
Okay.
We have 2 minutes left, but if you want to share anything else with the people listening.
No, I think we covered quite a bit, but it was great. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for joining, and thanks SaaStalk for this opportunity.
All right, thanks, Christian.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Thank you so much.